Learning English speaking through listening. My journey and insights. Listening has been one of the most important and transformative methods in my journey to learn English speaking. When I started, I realized that understanding and absorbing the language while listening helped me pick up pronunciation, vocabulary, and sentence structure naturally. It wasn't easy at first, but as I immersed myself in the sounds of English, I saw remarkable progress in my speaking skills. Let me share my journey and how others can use this method to improve their English speaking too. While listening is crucial for speaking, before you can speak fluently, you must be able to understand the language. Listening trains your brain to recognize the rhythm, tone, and natural flow of English. By exposing yourself to spoken English, you subconsciously absorb the correct pronunciation of words and how sentences are formed. Listening also helps you think in English. When you hear the language often, you start associating words with ideas and situations without needing to translate them into your native language. Over time, this makes speaking feel more natural and spontaneous. How I started learning through listening. When I began using listening as my primary method, I kept it simple. I chose materials that matched my current level of understanding and gradually increased the difficulty. Here is how I started. First, basic audio clips. At first, I listened to slow and clear English audio clips. There are plenty of beginner-friendly resources available online, such as podcasts and language learning apps. These helped me familiarize myself with basic vocabulary and sentence structures. Second, children's shows and audiobooks. I found children's shows and audiobooks particularly helpful. They use simple language and clear pronunciation. Shows like Peppa Pig or audiobooks like The Cat in the Hat allowed me to understand without feeling overwhelmed. Third, repetition. Repetition was key during the early stages. If I didn't understand something, I would replay it multiple times until I grasped the meaning. This not only improved my listening skills but also helped me retain new words and phrases. How listening boosted my speaking skills. Listening was not just about understanding, it directly impacted my ability to speak English. Here's how. First, improved pronunciation. Hearing native speakers pronounce words correctly helped me mimic their sounds. For example, I learned the subtle difference between sheet and sit by paying attention to the way native speakers pronounce them. Second, learning natural expressions. Through listening, I picked up common phrases and idioms that are not typically taught in textbooks. For instance, I learned expressions like I'm on cloud nine to mean very happy, or break the ice to start a conversation. Third, understanding intonation and rhythm. I noticed how native speakers emphasize certain words or phrases and how their tone changes depending on the context. For example, a rising tone often indicates a question. Are you coming? Listening helped me replicate these patterns when I spoke. My daily listening routine. I made listening a part of my daily life, ensuring I was exposed to English consistently. Here's what a typical day looked like. First, morning podcasts. I started my day with an English podcast while having breakfast or commuting. Podcasts like The English We Speak or BBC Learning English were informative and entertaining. Second, songs and lyrics. Listening to English songs became a fun way to learn. I would listen to my favorite tracks, look up the lyrics, and sing along. This improved my pronunciation and helped me memorize new words. Third, watching movies and TV shows. In the evening, I watched movies or TV shows in English. Initially, I used subtitles in my native language, but as I progressed, I switched to English subtitles. Shows like Friends and Office introduced me to conversational English and everyday slang. 4. Audiobooks before bed. At night, I listen to audiobooks or bedtime stories. This relaxed me and reinforced my learning while I drifted off to sleep. Overcoming challenges in listening. Listening was not always easy. I faced several challenges, but I found ways to overcome them. First, not understanding everything. At first, I could not catch every word or understand every sentence. Instead of getting discouraged, I focused on understanding the general meaning. Over time, my comprehension improved. Second, fast speech. Native speakers often talk quickly, which made it hard to keep up. To address this, I slowed down the audio using apps or platforms that allowed speed adjustment. This gave me more time to process each word. Third, accents and dialects. Understanding different English accents was another hurdle. I started with American and British accents since they are most common, and later exposed myself to other like Australian and Indian accents. This broadened my understanding of global English. Active listening, a game changer. While passive listening, example, playing English audio in the background, was helpful. Active listening made a significant difference. Here's what I did. First, focused listening sessions. I dedicated 15 to 30 minutes daily to focused listening, where I paid full attention to the audio. I noted down new words, phrases, and pronunciations. Second, shadowing technique. One of the most effective techniques I used was shadowing. I would play a sentence, pause, and repeat it aloud, trying to mimic the speaker's tone and pronunciation. This helped me improve my fluency and speaking confidence. Third, asking questions. After listening to a story or podcast, I asked myself questions like, what was the main idea? Or what new words did I learn? Answering these questions in English reinforced my understanding. Combining listening with speaking practice. Listening alone is not enough. It needs to be paired with speaking. After listening to something, I made it a point to discuss it with someone or record myself summarizing it. For example, if I watched a movie, I would describe its plot to a friend. If I listened to podcasts, I would share my thoughts about it. This integration of listening and speaking ensured that what I learned was immediately put into practice. Tips for using listening to improve speaking. If you are looking to use listening as a method to improve your speaking skills, here are some practical tips. First, start simple. Choose materials suited to your level. Children's audiobooks, beginner podcasts, or slow-paced YouTube videos are great starting points. Second, be consistent. Make listening a daily habit, even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes a day. Third, use subtitles wisely. Start with subtitles in your native language, then switch to English subtitles, and eventually try listening without any subtitles. Well, repeat and practice. Replay challenging audio until you understand it. Use the shadowing technique to practice speaking. Mix it up. Expose yourself to a variety of content, news, interviews, songs, movies, and more to build a diverse vocabulary. Results and reflections. Today, I can confidently say that listening has been a game changer in my English learning journey. It has not only improved my speaking but also enhanced my understanding of the culture and nuances behind the language. Listening taught me that language learning is not just about words, it's about rhythm, emotion, and context. The more I listened, the more natural speaking became. Encouragement for others. To anyone learning English, I highly recommend focusing on listening. Immerse yourself in the language, be patient with yourself, and enjoy the process. With time and consistent practice, you will find your speaking skills improving naturally, just as mine did. Listening is a powerful tool. Use it wisely, and you will unlock the door to fluency.